Hi, I'm Vince Weston, and we're back to the future in our time machine. I figure it's about time I better do an update, since it's been about a month. I haven't made huge amounts of progress, but the progress I've made has kind of been time consuming. What actually happened to me the first week or two after I started this project, I ran across some research material, which was the what they call the Hero car, which was a restoration they did on the Back to the Future time machine for Universal Studios. They took the one that was in the studio, I can't remember what year it was, about 2012, and refurbished it and got it back because, of course, pieces had been falling off. Side story, of course, was that a lot of the employees had picked up the parts and took them home to keep them, so they got a lot of the stuff back that they needed, but they did refurbish it. And I found this picture of the engine, and of course that's pre-1950s with the wiring for the electric lightning storm, which we're having one here tonight too, so a little timely. Anyway, I decided to go with that, and that it's basically the way it's set up. It's the original way Doc Brown built it. So I'll show you that. So that was what I figured I wanted to replicate. So the I took the piece from the one with the wire and not the Mr. Fusion, which I thought I was going to originally use. I was going to do this was going to start out as a simple build, and I was just going to kind of slap this together, and of course it's taken on a life of its own, as we all know they tend to do. And I've gotten off target, I should say, of the original tangent here. The first thing I did was, here's the sort of the original part. So I cut away this back section of the upper lump that the piece would go into, as you see here. And then I had to fabricate the that portion of it and fill back in those holes, and put in the double cans and flattened off the top piece, as you see here. From there, I did a quick mock-up of the parts to make sure everything was fitting, which you see here. And once I had gotten that all done, I noticed that the pieces, I wish I knew the time machine names for these things, but anyway, these type of hoses that are here that go from the center to the exhaust piece, I guess it is. I wish I knew the names, I'm sorry. It didn't really look realistic, as you can see in this piece. The forming was just kind of bizarre hoses and stuff like that, so I decided that had to go, and I've fabricated up some new hoses. Basically, this is I took some wire. My original concept used 14 gauge electric wire, which Let's see if I can get that in the shot. And then wound it with some silver wire to give that corrugated kind of effect, which I'm sure that's not coming out too well. But it turned out this was too large, so I found some number 2 picture hanger wire and rewrapped, and that was a little bit closer, so I used that instead and cut it down to size and made my vent pieces here, which you can see in sort of in this picture. Then from there, basically for the last day or so, I've been doing some gizmology. It looked a little naked in there once I got everything together, and so I added some wires of different colors, mostly black, and a couple of orange and yellow, just to give it a little bit more color, and tried to replicate some of the twists and turns. Here's a quick slideshow of what I finally come up with. I'll bring this up and let you see a little bit here. Slideshow pictures are a little bit clearer and closer, but here you go. Here's a couple pictures of that. So in the interim also, I worked on the wheels and tires. Oops, I knocked that over. I did a black wash and then used Tamiya smoke. It's good for taking down the silver chrome, and looks a little bit more chrome-like. That was a cute trick I'd picked up from a magazine. I think it works out pretty well. Then the next thing I decided was, while I was looking at reference pictures, I decided, well, in one of them, which is not the hero car, they had Marty's space helmet here. It's not, well, it's the heat suit. So here's a couple of pictures of that, which are probably better than what I'm showing you right now, to get you an idea. And I think that looks kind of cool. I'm going to put it on the front seat like you see it there. I'll probably shove it back a little bit. It may not be in that exact position by the time I finish, but that's something else I've done. Lots of scratch building that I hadn't intended to do. Also, I've been working on the body. As you remember, this body was really shiny and bright and really didn't look like stainless steel. What I wound up doing actually was I used a Scotch pad, and because there seemed to be a clear gloss on it, and I kind of rubbed that all down and got that down, and then put on sprayed it with some dull coat. For a while I was trying a couple of different things to see if I could, what would work best. I just noticed here. The one thing of point of interest that I noticed too is there's something missing from the grill here. So I'm going to replicate a DMC to go there, DeLorean motor cars. Unfortunately, I can't replicate the one in the back, but at least I figure if I get the one on the front, it'll look a little better and a little closer. I'm doing a lot of scratch building, a lot of extra work, and a lot of fooling around with this. I had really intended to have this only be a month-long project, but it's not. So I've used up more than enough time for the moment, and so I'll let you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'd appreciate any comments. I always enjoy comments. And we'll talk to you later. So have fun.